Hey guys, welcome to this great, short, in-depth tutorial that covers basically everything you need to know to become a great Apple user, okay? You'll be able to master any older OS X or newer Mac OS systems with all of these things that are taught in this video. So without further ado, let's just dive right in. So with Macs, you're gonna really need to remember your password. It's going to be asked anytime that you try to install anything or anytime that you're trying to move system files. Because it's Unix based, that's one of the security measures that comes with it. All right, so let's log in. Okay, so before I begin, I just really want to point out the fact that Apple is a one-click based graphical user interface, meaning that if you attempt to open any program, you just click on it once and it's going to open up, okay? So to get anything to respond, you just have to click on it once. But there's an exception for when you're in folders. To get into a folder, you first have to click on it once to select it and once to get inside of it. But you have to do it quickly. So 1, 2. There you go, you're in. And this is just to go inside of like folders and resources to get them to open up. So you have to double click folders, but basically everywhere else you click once and it's gonna open up, okay? All right, so if we go up to the top left here, the Apple logo. This logo always stays here, it never goes away. If you click on it, it has about 5 or 6 things that are very important. Okay, it has the log out, log the screen, shut down or restart, your system preferences, force quit, and about this Mac. Now, all of these things are very important, and I'm just going to touch up on them a little bit one at a time on the main ones. But here, first, let's start off with this. About this Mac. This is very important because you want to know what kind of computer you're dealing with. So on the overview here, the window that pops up after you go to About This Mac, you can tell the Mac type that you're on, the size of the screen, and then the year. This is Apple's format for identifying the type of Mac that you're on. Then it has like some other resources, you know, like the computer's processor speed and memory, the type of GPU that it has. But this is the main thing that you need to know, okay? When it comes time to troubleshoot or do anything with your Mac, this is the information that you need. All right, next, you have the storage tab, okay? You click on storage. This has your storage information for any of the drives that you have plugged into your Mac, as well as your native hard drive that has all of your information inside of your Mac, okay? And it tells you how much space you have available and so forth. You can even manage it from here. All right, so these two things are important, storage and overview from About This Mac. Now that we have an idea of what kind of Mac we're on, let's give ourselves the most powerful weapon that we can get. Okay, let's go back to the Apple logo, and now we go down to System Preferences. Okay, this is a quick way to access your system settings. And here you can see the mouse and trackpad. Depending on what kind of computer you're on a laptop, you'll have the trackpad. On this iMac that I'm on, you have the mouse. So I'm using a mouse, I click on that, okay, and you see right here there's an option for a secondary click. I click that, and now I can close this window and I can right click on things. I can right click, create a new folder, and I can right click and move the folder to the trash can. I can right click on the trash can and I can empty it now. Wow, so very powerful. I can right click on any of these programs on the bottom or in any file and get information about it. Great. Anybody coming from any operating system should be familiar with right click. It's a very powerful option to have. Now, on a Mac laptop, you can do the same gesture on a trackpad with 2 fingers. If you turn it on inside of the settings, go to trackpad here. On a laptop, you'll have an option to turn on double click with 2 fingers. Okay, so in Windows you have something called File Explorer, and I'll do a lot of comparisons to Windows because I think that most people are familiar with Windows. Okay, so you have File Explorer. In Mac, you have something called Finder. In fact, when you first turn on your computer, it is an automatically launched program, and we're in it right now, okay? And it kind of never goes away. This is the desktop that's running. It's a little program, and it's called the Finder. And you can get its native interface window to pop up, but it's always right here in the bottom left, okay? And you could see that it is, like kind of like a File Explorer window that has access to multiple resources on the left here. And here we have access to about 4 really important folders. You have your applications folder, which is like all programs for Windows. You have your desktop, which is basically what shows up right here on the desktop. You have your documents. This is where a lot of applications that you have will save their projects and files to this folder. Okay, and then you have your downloads. This is in your web browser. Anything you download will go inside of here. Talking about the graphical user interface, dealing with this window here, I just want to point out really quickly 3 things. On most other operating systems, these 3 squares or circles are always on the right side, top right. On Macs, it's on the left. You got your X, which will close the window. You got your yellow dash that will make the window come down here into the dock. It will dock it down, okay? See, it's very easy here. Okay, and then you have your green, which will expand it to full screen. And if you push your mouse all the way up, a little window comes down and you could just undo the full screen, okay? So this is the way you interface with these little windows that open up. Every program will have this here. Now, there's something really strange, I guess, to Windows users that's different, okay? Once you start opening up programs, and I'll just open up a couple as an example. If I open up Notes, okay, down here, okay, and let's say I also open up iTunes. I get 3 programs opened up all at the same time. Now remember how I said that the Finder is always on? Okay, you'll find that every time you switch between programs, and what I mean by switching is when you grab their attention, okay, you could see that to the right of the Apple logo right here, this entire menu bar, file, edit, songs, the name of the program, it all changes every time that you click on a different, you see, every time you click on a different program, it changes. I clicked on Notes here, and it changed to Notes, okay? I clicked on the Finder access window, it changed to Finder. I click on the iTunes, it changed to iTunes. So this menu bar always corresponds to the program that you have selected and in your attention. So why is this important? Well, it has all these other additional functions. So if you selected a program like iTunes and you wanted to go inside of its settings, you would select it from this menu. You would select the iTunes and you go to Preferences, okay? And all your settings would be here, all right? And this works the same way for every single program. So for Notes, if you select Notes and you go up to the top here, you go into Preferences. Now you can change all the preferences for Notes. If you go into the Finder window, you go into Preferences and you change the Finder settings, okay? So every time you select the window, the menu up top changes, and then it gets a whole new set for that specific program. All right, so now we got our right click set up, and we know how to open and close and dock down our windows, okay? I want to show you that down here, every time that a program is open, it gets a little dot underneath it, okay? You see how you have these notes here, you have a little dot here. You got your iTunes, you got a little dot on the bottom. You got your QuickTime player, you got a little dot, right? So this dot indicates that the program is running, okay? So even if I dock all of these down, okay, they go down right by my trash can. They go down into this section of the dock, and they're all still here. They're just running. They're just docked down, okay? Here, actually. Okay, so if I undock all of them, okay, and I go down, let's say we have notes here. This is the notes program. If I go down and right click on the notes in the dock, I can quit it. And now it goes away, you see? All right? This is how you can quit programs. You can also quit it. You see, this is the iTunes program. See how it has a dot below? Okay. Now, if I grab it in my attention, okay, and I click on iTunes here, I can go to quit iTunes. And that will also shut it down. And you see how the dot went away there? Yeah. All right. So, but you'll notice this little particular case here. We have our Finder, okay? And if we close this down, okay, the Finder, you see there's no windows open, but it's still running. You see up top here, it's still, and then it still has the dot here, right? And you can't really turn it off, okay? You can't quit the Finder, okay? But I'm going to show you this powerful trick right off the bat, okay? If you come back to the Apple logo and you go to force quit, okay, it's going to be the same exact thing as clicking Control Alt and Delete in Windows, okay? This is where a program is misbehaving, you can kill it. And the same thing goes for in Windows. You have Windows Explorer or Explorer that sometimes glitches, and then you can go Control Alt and Delete and kill it. Well, here it's the same exact thing sometimes happens, and it's Finder. This everything that you see here is the Finder. It glitches. You can go here. You can click relaunch, and it will kill it and relaunch the entire Finder. Okay. All right. Now that you know the Finder, we can talk about the dock here. Okay. So we have all of these little applications here, and I've already opened a few of them. Okay, these are just shortcuts to some of the applications that are installed. Now, to the right here, you see this little section between these two dots. Now, if you right-click on the dock menu, if you right-click on the dock menu and go to dock preferences, these right here are programs that are constantly used. They're called recent application programs. So if you've recently opened some programs, they'll always show up here. You can actually get this to go away by unchecking Show Recent Applications in Dock in the settings. You see, you can leave that or make it go away, but just so that you know, that's what they are. Because it's kind of confusing why they're there. But now you know how to turn that off. So, and then as you've seen before, this little area right here, right next to the trash can, is where all of your active programs go to indicate that they're on and docked down. So if I open up Notes here, okay, and I dock it down, it's going to go into this section, all right? If I open up Photos and I dock it down, it's going to go here, right? So this is where, if I got Finder, window open, I dock it down, it's going there. So these are things that are open right now. You can just dock them all down. And then obviously, if you right click and create a folder, okay, and then you decide to throw it away, you can drag it down to this trash can, okay, and then you can right click on the trash can and empty it, and it'll throw it away. So this is basically your graphical user interface. Next thing is we have the spotlight search on the top right here, okay. This is like the Windows search bar. Basically, you can type in a name or a file, okay? You can calculator, right? Calc. In many operating systems, if you type in calc and any of the Finder-like Windows, it'll find the calculator application. So basically, when things get cluttered, okay, you can use this to find applications or files that you've saved, okay? So, but it's a little more powerful than that. You can actually, you don't even have to find the calculator through it. You can do some calculations inside this window. Like if you wanted to do 100 plus 10, you know, it'll give you 110. It has some built-in functions. If you're connected to the internet, you can type in weather, and it's gonna give you your weather, right? So that's great. We're almost done here. We're just gonna cover two more things, which is how to connect to the internet and how applications are installed. So to connect to the internet, I'm already connected here, but I could just disconnect just as easy, and you'll see that usually when you are like in Starbucks or somewhere with your laptop, you'll come in and you'll see this blank grayed out icon here, okay? And if you turn on your Wi-Fi, okay, you will see all of the networks that are available for you to connect to. If you click on the network you're familiar with, you know, it'll be prompted for the password for it. You type in your credentials, you know, you hit join, and then you're going to connect to the network, okay? That's how you always connect on any Mac, okay? If you have a problem and you don't have anything here, okay, I have a video in the link description that you can watch that will help you get your internet back up and running. So Apple has a browser called Safari. This is how it connects to the internet. So I'm not a big fan of the Safari browser because I like to have extensions that enable me to do extra things with the browser, like help me save money while I'm shopping. I'm not going to name any names of extensions, but I'll just let you know that I like different kinds of extensions, and many people use them, and so therefore I like to use Chrome. Now, Chrome web browser is just like an application that you have to install. So we're getting into how to install applications. So for our first example, we're going to install the Chrome web browser. That will allow us to see how applications are installed in a Mac, because it's very unique. It's very different from Windows and many other operating systems. We got our browser, we're on the internet, we're gonna type in Chrome download. All right, and we're going to click the first link, and we're going to click download. Now, in the Safari browser, you saw that little animation where it dropped down the download down here. The Chrome doesn't have an animation like that, so if you decide to go with Chrome, you won't see this. But if you stick around with Safari, you're gonna see that. You have this animation, and then you have your downloads that are right here in this section where the trash can is and all your programs that are dug down. So this, now if you downloaded something, you want to access it again, okay, you can click on the background. Okay, if you lost it, you don't know how to get to it, you can click on the background. You can go to you go to downloads, and voila, it's there as well. Most things that you download that are programs that are installable on a Mac come in this, where is it, downloads. They come in this DMG format, okay? This is what we just downloaded. It's in a DMG format. You see, I just showed you like 2-3 different ways of accessing it. Here, again, from the downloads folder, or from the Finder, or from the Go. There are so many different ways, but the main objective is get to the downloads folder and get this file. Now we click the file. It's going to verify that the file wasn't corrupted during the download. You can elect to skip this process, or you can just allow it to verify it. I've never had an issue once I press skip, and sometimes some of the big files take a while to do this. So it's okay to press skip. All right, so once it's done verifying, it mounts the image, And I know this sounds strange. It's not like an executable in Windows where you double click on an executable file, and then it pops up a window, starts taking you through a click next wizard, pick directories, select some options. Well, Mac doesn't do any of that. What it does is it mounts the image that you downloaded with the program as if it is a USB drive. And you can see that it showed up right here. And as soon as it mounted it, it ran a auto run script that was installed in that drive. And that auto run script popped up this window. Now this window, and this is how, the real bare bones, down nitty and gritty of how Apple applications are installed. They're just basically dragged into the applications folder. Okay, and you can see that there's this, image animation with an arrow pointing down. This is in fact the applications folder. I mean, I can open it right here and it takes me to the applications, right? So all it's just telling you is the script activates this window and says, hey, grab this file that's mounted in this image. So here you can just grab it and drag it into the applications folder. Now it's going to copy the file physically from this mounted USB-like drive, and it's going to copy it into the applications folder. And after that, we can get rid of this drive. And I'll show you what I mean by that as soon as this is done. Okay, made that little sound like it moved it. All right, now we're done with this installation. It's sort of like if you had a USB drive in your Mac, you pulled some files from it, you got it onto the computer. Hey, now you can eject the USB drive. Well, this is the same concept. Now you can just eject this drive. All right, and I'm just gonna close this, select the Finder, go to Applications, and we have our Google Chrome in here now. See, right here. And anytime you have anything that you installed into the Applications folder, you can just grab it and drag it down to the dock in between the icons, and then you have a nice little shortcut here. And so now if we go to activate it, okay, when you get a warning like this, can't be opened because it's not downloaded from the App Store, you click the Apple logo and you go to System Preferences, and then you go to Security and Privacy. Okay, and down here in the bottom left, you have this little lock. You're going to put in your password. And then you're going to check Apple Store and unidentified developers to allow these apps to be open. So Apple just wants you to only install their apps, but they really have to give you an option to allow you to install other apps as well. So you just uncheck that there. And this is in the security and privacy. Okay, so you lock that back up. Okay, click OK here. And now if you click Google Chrome, it's going to open up. It's going to go back to verifying for the first time. And then it's going to give you a warning. Are you sure you want to open this using downloaded it from the internet? Click open. And now we kind of got the Apple operating system off our back. So you're no longer going to get any pop-ups other than perhaps making it your default browser. So there you go. In a nutshell, that's how you install a program. And now actually I can just quit the Safari. I dislike the Safari, so I'm just going to go ahead and toss it out. And that's how you remove an icon from a dock. You just grab it, drag it down to the trash can. It doesn't throw away the application. All of these are just shortcuts. So we have our Chrome. It's up and running. It's working. Great. All right. So we want to practice installing another piece of software. A really great program for Macs is called VLC Player for Mac. Okay? And basically, it's VLC Player, it's on all platforms, but it also is on a Mac as well. Okay? And so it will allow you to play basically any format video files from any kind of source. Like there's some proprietary devices and phones that just have weird formats, and it will play those as well. So basically any file that is a video can be played with this player, unlike with built-in QuickTime Player. You know, this is a very powerful player. So let's just see what it's like. You know, I went to Google, I typed in VLC Player for Mac, and I said download, and so I went to the first link, and here it is. I'm just gonna click download here, okay? And let's see, is it gonna start? Yep, see, it started on the bottom left here. Here it is, it's downloading, and guess where it's gonna go once it's done? You got it. It's gonna go right into the downloads folder. So once it's done, I can either click on it here, or you can see the downloads started jumping up, up and down, or I can click on it here, okay? So I'm just gonna click on it here from the browser, and again, it starts verifying. This time I'm gonna hit skip just to show you that, see, it doesn't really mean anything. It just verifies it. And now you can see once again, hey, we've seen this before. It attached it like an image, like a USB drive onto our drive, onto our computer here in a drive form, okay? And then it ran the auto run script, and it gave this another, this looks a little familiar, but quite different, another animation. Where there we have our applications folder, here we have our VLC player, an arrow pointing, and what we're gonna do, we're just gonna drop it right in. And there it goes, it made that little sound. All right, so it's done. Now we can just close this, and once again, hey, we can right click on this and eject it or dismount the image, the installation image. Now, as you can see, we can go ahead and close down the Chrome here, and if we, once again, go into Finder and go into the applications, that's one of many ways to get here. You can see, here it is, VLC player, and now if we have any video, we can play it with this player. For the first time, asks you for a few different things that you want to set up, and then basically you're good to go. Are you sure you want to open it? Yes. Check for our art and media. So it goes to execute a few things, like, you know, like running it for the first time. No, I don't want to check anything. There it is. So now it's alive and, you know, running. And then this, you know, can work in any application. You download the DMG file, you double click on it, it mounts, you drag the auto script that it plays, you know, showing you its main file, you drag it into the applications folder, bada bang, bada boom, you're done. So that's installing on a Mac in a nutshell. A little bit different than Windows, right? All right. So I'll leave you with the last bit of advice, and this is, you know, more of my personal preference. Okay, I like to go into the Finder here. Okay, like select anywhere in the background, click anywhere in the background, go into the Finder and go to Preferences. Okay, and the first thing I like to do is I like to check this hard disks. And you see this disk that showed up on the right here. This is like having your C drive on a Windows computer. You know, now you can see your hard drive where you know it was hidden before, but now you can see this is like your hard drive. If you double click on it, you see the hierarchy. You know, you can have access to all the user accounts that are installed in this machine. You can look at the system files, you know, inside of the entire, you know, operating system. And then you can look at your applications, and then you have your library. And so this is like your main guts of the computer, and it's kind of hidden. All right, so having access to that is nice. Now on the sidebar, you can see all the things that are checked when you open up one of these Finder windows. Like you see here, you got AirDrop, recent, you know, these things are checked. But I like to check movies, music, pictures, and then the home button for the account. Okay, so any account that's logged in is going to have that show up here. All right, and that's nice because it just gives you an extra way to navigate around. It's nice. All right, so there it is. I hope you learned something new. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. All right, so thank you for watching. Have a great day.